What's up, y'all? My name is Alexis Paris, aka AP, and today I wanted to talk to y'all about how shifting your mindset shapes your reality. I want to debunk the myth that toxic positivity exists, because if you ask me, it does not. And I would like to go deeper into that. So, what is positivity? Positivity is being able to maintain a certain level of optimism despite what your current circumstances look like. Because a lot of the times what we see in front of us does not reflect what's happening on the back end. It can be easy to get caught up in the mundane or the day-to-day and not look at the situation from a higher perspective and see that you are actually still making progress and still working toward your goals, despite the fact that you may have encountered some challenges or obstacles along the way. And I feel like I've heard about toxic positivity a lot, and I started to think about what that actually is. Like, what is it to be toxically positive? And I don't really feel like that's a thing, because if somebody has trained their brain and their mind to be so strong that they see optimism in every situation, that is just like a very high level of awareness that most people just aren't willing to do the work to get to. I don't know if that necessarily means that it's toxic. Conflict arises no matter what. You can still choose to be positive in the midst of conflict, and it doesn't necessarily need to be labeled as toxic just because you're not willing to lower your vibration due to a circumstance. And if you ask me, I would rather be around somebody that is positive all the time to the point to where it's annoying than be around somebody that's a downer and is always looking at things from a negative point of view and is pessimistic, because that is a lot more draining than toxic positivity. And it all starts with your mindset, which is why I chose the title that I chose for this video, because shifting your perspective is what shapes your reality. What's in front of us is not always going to look like what we imagine, but it doesn't mean that there's not a silver lining in it. That doesn't mean that there's not something to be learned. There's not something that can be taken away from it. Negative situations are typically only as negative as you're willing to allow them to be. And your willingness depends on your mindset. And our mindsets are shaped in adolescence. Typically, when you're a teenager and you're going through puberty and things like that, that's when you really develop like these more complex emotions, like depression and social anxiety and general anxiety and fears, and you start to feel things in a more deep way. And if you don't have the support system or the coping mechanisms to help you kind of regulate that, then those habits and that mindset will follow you into adulthood, and now you're an adult thinking with a similar mindset as you were when you were an adolescent. And that's not to say that there's something wrong with you if you are somebody that is more of a negative or pessimistic thinker, but that is to say that there probably is some work that could be done to shift your mindset so that you can essentially look at the glasses half full and not half empty. And while that's a very generic saying, it's still pretty relevant, because at the end of the day, it's up to you, right? I can break my fingernail right now, and I can look at that as something very negative and be very upset because I put so much time and energy into making sure that my nails grow strong, right? I can be really upset about it because of the effort that I've put in. Or I can choose to be positive about it and be like, wow, I broke a nail, but it doesn't hurt. I'm not bleeding. It's not an emergency. I'm actually okay. You know? Same situation, two different mindsets. And the choice is yours every day. It changes day to day, right? Like, you're going to have days where you feel more negatively charged. You might have days where you feel more positively charged. But it's up to you as to which energy you choose to stay in. Because the negative energy is going to come and go. The positive energy is going to come and go. But you make the choice as to which one you're going to actually hold on to. and carry with you throughout your day. And it's, again, a choice. We don't talk about how it's a choice a lot, but essentially it is. I grew up around a lot of people that came from different backgrounds and different circumstances, and I've had this conversation a bunch of times about how, ultimately your environment plays a role in how you cope and how you deal with situations, but at a certain point, you're still making a choice to stay in a situation, to leave a situation, to let a situation define you. It's still an active choice that you're making for yourself because the decision is ultimately yours. And I don't know why I'm thinking about Friday and the scene where goes, I got mind control over Debo. You got to have mind control over your own mind, because if not, it'll just do its thing. Like, the mind is such a powerful organ. It essentially is running itself, right? We're just helping regulate, but it's doing its thing throughout the entire day, whether you're aware of it or not. Awareness really comes into play because you have to have a certain level of awareness to even notice what's going on in the background. There's multiple different ways. I talk about this in all of my other videos. If you haven't watched my last video, I encourage you to go do so. My last video is about how softness is strength, not weakness. And I debunk a lot of myths surrounding the soft girl era and what that really looks like, and the work that you actually have to put in to remain soft when you're dealing with hardship and challenges. It ties into what I'm talking about here today, because in order to choose to be positive, you have to be willing to do that work when it comes to coping with challenging situations and how you deal and react to those things. I recommend you go watch my last video if you have not, but some of the coping mechanisms that I touch base on is walking, nourishing yourself, going outside, socializing, stretching, exercising, mindfulness, meditation, anything that you can do to regulate your system. If your nervous system is cooked, it's hard to remain positive. If your nervous system is cooked, it's hard to remain positive. Your body's too in shock, too unsure of what to do, too overwhelmed for you to sit there and be like, yeah, the glass is half full. Because your body's like, no, girl, that glass is half empty. I'm struggling. And it becomes very logical. And that's why I was saying a lot of the times we can't base our mindset on what's happening in front of us. We have to base our mindset on what we want things to look like in the future. Whether that's the distant future or the near future, the work still looks pretty similar. In order to truly shift your mindset, you must learn how to cope. You must learn how to cope with hardship. You can be somebody that is very privileged and deals with very little obstacles and very little challenges and still have to learn how to cope, because at any moment, something can happen to knock you off your square. That's essentially what life is. There's not a consistent, everything is great. That's not how life is, right? Everything's great and then something comes up, and then everything's great and then something comes up. It's more of a roller coaster than just like a straight line. It's rarely ever peaches and rainbows and all that stuff. It's rarely ever like that. You have to train your mind and your body to respond in a way that keeps you at a higher vibration. High vibration is just positivity in a different way. It's the same thing. When we think of lower vibrational, right, you automatically are thinking of somebody that's negative. So higher vibration is positive. And you can honestly base everything that I'm saying on science if you need something that's more concrete and something that makes more sense than how I'm explaining it. Ultimately, that's the recipe. Continue to show up for yourself. Learn how to cope with challenges. Learn how to regulate your nervous system. Train your mind to look at the glass is half full, to remain optimistic despite the challenges that you may be facing. and your reality shifts. Your reality shifts. I don't know if anyone here has seen the movie. I think it's Everything Everywhere All at Once. Go watch that movie, because it's a great example of exactly what I'm talking about. How you can get so stuck in the mundane that you forget who you are and that you actually have control here, and that you don't have to be stuck unless you want to be, but you don't have to be. And a lot of people talk about timeline jumping when you travel and go to different locations, how that can essentially catapult you into a different reality. Like I was saying, environment plays a role. If you feel like you have been stuck in the same cycle, same mindset, and your location has been the same, it might be time for you to step outside of your comfort zone and move so that you can shift your mindset. Because something about that situation, something about that environment is keeping you stagnant. And stagnancy is not growth. In order to grow, there's a certain level of discomfort that comes with that. In order to shift your reality, in order to change your circumstances, there's a certain level of discomfort that comes with that. It's a lot easier to go through life goal-oriented and focused when your mindset is positive. And I encourage you, if you've never even tried or even thought about how to increase your awareness or how to shift your mindset or how to really tackle your challenges in a way that's effective, then maybe that's where you start. You can't just jump timelines overnight. I'm not telling you to go on a vacation tomorrow or to move to a different town tomorrow. I'm not telling you to do nothing crazy. You still have to be in alignment. But what I am saying is, if you feel like you've been stuck in the same cycle and you're repeating the same script over and over and over again, and you're desperate for change and you want something different but you don't know what to change, I encourage you to look in the mirror. Because Michael Jackson said it. Starting with the mirror, asking him to change his ways. If you wanna, if you wanna make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make that change. Thank you. Yeah, I know the Michael Jackson movie about to come out too, so maybe that's relevant. But if you want to make a change, it starts with you. If you want to see the world, I feel like I'm reciting the lyrics. If you want to see the world become a better place, then it starts with doing the inner work. And if you're surrounded by people who are kind of on the same frequency as you, whether that's negative or not, I'm not going to call you negative, but whether that's negative or not, they're not going to be the ones to tell you to raise your vibrations and change. They're not going to be the ones to tell you to change, because they want you to sit there and do the same things that they're doing. You kind of got to surround yourself with people that are doing things a little bit different than you, that are maybe a little bit more aware than you. They say to surround yourself with people that are doing better than you. You don't always need to be on the same level as the people that you surround yourself with, because then again, stagnancy is more likely than not to happen. The environment matters, who you surround yourself with matters, but the only person that can pull that trigger and make a difference is you. So if you're somebody that notices that you wake up feeling negative more often than not, you're pessimistic more often than not, you have a lack mindset where no matter how much you get, no matter how much you do, you feel like it's not enough, then your perspective has to change. It just does. And that's scary. And there's an unknown there. I can't tell you what's going to happen in your situation once you do that, start doing that work. But I can tell you that it's probably going to look better than if you do nothing. So this week we've talked about authenticity and we've talked about softness. They all go hand in hand with positivity. It's hard to be authentically negative. It's hard to be soft and negative. it goes hand in hand with positivity, and positivity starts with you, but it also plays a big factor in who are you surrounding yourself with? What does your environment look like? And what actionable steps can you take to make that different, to change it for the better? Do you want to? That's like the first question you can ask yourself in this whole process of shifting your mindset. Do you want to change? Answer is yes? Cool. Are you willing to do the work required to change? Because it's one thing to make the decision, it's another thing to do the work. And I advise you to really sit with that and to really contemplate if that's something that you're willing to do for yourself. You got to show up for yourself. Again, if you are in an environment with people that have been in that same environment with you for quite some time, they're not likely to encourage you to do something different. You might have to be the one to make the choice. But are you willing to? Are you willing to make the choice? You can shift your reality as quickly as tomorrow by making the choice to stay positive and to adapt to a more positive mindset today. Read some affirmations before you go to sleep. Journal all your negative thoughts away before you rest. Pray or meditate before you go to sleep. You can start tonight. You can start right now. And that's not to say that you're not going to wake up tomorrow and your boss not going to call you and piss you off, or your friend not going to call you and piss you off, or your dog not going to shit on the floor. All that can happen. But you're already doing the work to train your brain to be like, okay, this happened and I can still be positive. My dog did his business on the floor. Guess what? My floor is still good. I can clean it up and everything's fine. I can't tell you what to do with the dog. I can tell you what to do with your mind. And it's so important. It's so crucial. There's no way that we can expect the younger generation to grow and change if we're not willing to be the example. And to be the example, you're going to have to step outside of your comfort zone. But again, to be toxically positive is way better than to be obnoxiously pessimistic. So the choice is yours. What reality do you want? That's it. That's the video. I hope it helps. I know it's a lot. And I know it's overwhelming, but it's so necessary. It's so necessary to do that self-reflection where it's like, dang, am I in my own way? Am I the one that's not willing to make the real change necessary to live a higher quality of life? Is it me? It might be. There might be other factors, but it might start with, or it does start with you. So thank you for watching my video today. I hope I didn't piss anybody off. And I hope this helps you move forward. I hope in addition to my other videos, I'm just helping guide y'all through what it looks like to really embody someone who wants to live a high quality of life and not allow their circumstances to dim their light or take away from their joy, right? And yeah, as always, I would love to do a quick little meditation before I end the video today. So if you're interested in sticking around for that, then I encourage you to do so, and we'll get into it. Nothing fancy today. I just want you to start in a comfortable seat, and we can close our eyes for about a minute. Allow your breath to deepen as you settle in. And just take mental note of how you're feeling today. You can breathe in and out through your nose, or you can breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. If you need more heat in the body, then I would breathe in and out through the nose with the mouth closed. And I want you to think about one thing that you're grateful for today. As for me, today I am grateful for nourishment, nourishing our bodies coincides with nourishing our minds and our spirits. And it's an important step to take if you are someone that is striving to be more positive. It all starts with you, so you must take care of yourself, inside and out. Continue to breathe at your own pace. Notice your shoulders rise and drop. Notice your belly rise and drop as you continue to breathe. And if you'd like, I encourage you to take one hand and put it on your heart space. Really breathing into your heart space, showing your body love and compassion and care. And honoring yourself where you are now. We'll do 5 more breaths together, and we'll end collectively with an Om. Collectively, we'll Om together. On your next exhale. One more time. Inhale. You can open your eyes. And I want to end tonight with some affirmations. So if you would like, I encourage you to repeat after me. I am capable. I can do hard things. I am grateful for my life. I choose to remain positive. I love myself. And I appreciate you for joining me tonight. I hope this video was helpful for you. If there are any other topics or conversations or anything that you'd like me to touch base on, I encourage you to comment down below and let me know what you would like to hear from me next. And of course, like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope to see y'all next time. See you later.